Hello, this is African View with me, Yolita Masu. I have here with me Ambassador of the Hellenic Republic, Ambassador Nikolaos Patakias. He is a permanent representative to the African Union, the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, and is also an ambassador for Djibouti and South Sudan. Ambassador Nikolaos Patakias, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
And shall we start with your attire? You look very dignified, and could you explain to us about the medals and...
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to be here and speak to your spectators. And I've been here for 4 years. It was really a very rewarding time. And concerning your question about my decorations after 4 years, I tried my best for Greek and Ethiopian brothers, and my President of the Republic appreciated that. He gave me the highest decoration we have in Greece, and also I received the highest decoration from the Orthodox Patriarch of Alexandria and the whole Africa. So that is this. And but I don't think, really that is just a thank you for me. I just take these decorations, high decorations, as an impulse to continue even more to work for Greece and Ethiopia and relations, and to be better.
Congratulations, it's really a big honor.
Thank you very much.
So, could you tell us about your stay here in Africa? How was it? Your 4 years, can you sum it up?
Yeah, first it's divided in 2 parts. I've been 6 years ago here for 6 months. That was a special mission, which gave me the opportunity to get to know Ethiopia, to get to know Ethiopian people. And I can tell you that I really liked, and I saw that there is much to do. There are many opportunities. So when time became, at that time I was not an ambassador. I was a counselor of embassy. But when I became ambassador, I volunteered to come here. So nobody pushed me to come here. I chose, because I saw that there are many things to do in Ethiopia. Even Ethiopian name is Greek name, means sun-tanned people, by the sun. So seeing that there are many relations between our 2 countries and our 2 people, I would like to come back and do my best, give all my efforts for this. So in these 4 years, we, of course, with the help of Ethiopian brothers, we tried to strengthen our bilateral relations. It had been 20 years without visit of ministers. We had, in these last years, 4 visits of ministers of foreign affairs. And we organized the first 2 in history Greek-Ethiopian Business Forum. One last year with a minister, and one this year, again with a minister. We participated in all diplomatic activities, diplomatic bazaar, diplomatic presentations, all what existed. In the bilateral relations, we had the signing of 2 memorandum of understanding between Greece and Ethiopia. And in cultural relations, I think it was our highlight, because we co-organized with our brothers from the Ethiopian National Theatre Bado Egger, that's Socrates Live, which has been playing in the National Theatre for more than 1 year and a half now. And we transported the whole play to our sacred ancient theatre in Athens. That was last year. So we really did many things. And I'm feeling very happy for that. And that's why the President of the Republic invited me to an audience officially, and to congratulate me, and he called me a brother, a real brother of Ethiopia. So I did many things, but I think it's very rewarding, and I'm looking forward to see Greece and Ethiopia go even closer together and continue strengthening the bilateral relations. We also had in the multilateral with the African Union. Don't forget that Addis Ababa is not just the capital of Ethiopia, it's also the capital of Africa. So we had many good relations with the African Union. We tried to support Agenda 2063 of the African Unions, And I'm happy to see that the African Union these years I've been here has many, many positive steps.
So basically you have lifted the embassy, the Greek's representation in Ethiopia and Africa from a non-existence to, say, in a matter of speaking, to this level, to a highest bilateral relation within the past 4 years. So let's start with the business and economic activities that you have boosted while you are here, starting with the business delegates that you brought from Greek, the business people that came here, and your relationship with the Chamber of Commerce. Could you explain to us about that?
Yeah, we started last year. It was an idea of me and my wife. We would like to boost also our economic relations. So last year, our Minister of Foreign Affairs came here. At the same time, we organized the first in history business forum of Greece and Ethiopia. We did this in the premises of our embassy, inside and in the garden. So we organized all, and we tried what we tried to do. We sought to convince Greeks to come and invest in Ethiopia, so create works for Ethiopia, because Ethiopia provides many incentives. That's what I was trying to tell them. So the delegation came, the minister came. It was very well published also in the Greek media, so they know. And we tried to explain with the help of the Chamber of Commerce and the Investment Commission here, to explain that Ethiopia offers many opportunities for those who want to get established here, either separately or within organized buildings like industrial parks, like the very big Awasa Park or the other industrial parks. And it seemed that the Greeks were convinced, and they started doing business with Ethiopians. That was my target. During the same first in history business forum, Greece and Ethiopia, last year, the two countries also signed a memorandum of understanding. In fact, it wasn't a memorandum, it was a gift of Greek people to the Ethiopian people, which gave the opportunity, without any exchange, for all Ethiopian sailors to work on Greek ships, Greek merchant ships. We know we have the first fleet in the world, 4,414 merchant ships. So Ethiopians who had the diplomas, they can work on our ships and earn money, and and help young people in Ethiopia. And this, as I said, it was a proposal, just a gift to our brothers Ethiopians. So that was last year. This year, again with another minister, brought of foreign affairs, we organized the second. It was even stronger. This time we sought also the help of the Greek industrialists and Greek businessmen who came here in force. And there were many B2B meetings and contracts signed, as I learned afterwards. During the meeting, we had also another memorandum of understanding between the two chambers, the Greek Chamber of Commerce and the Ethiopian Chambers of Commerce. So even when I'm not here, they're going to continue cooperation, because I have to say here that what we try to do is not once off. It was to establish good grounds for the continuation of the relations even after I leave Ethiopia, and I think we managed to do that. And still we have many Greeks sending emails or phones. They learn from others it was a success and they want to continue and they want to come. And really some countries came, and we start, and also imports from Ethiopia. Just to say what happened yesterday, they called me from Greece, somebody who was not participating in the business forum, but learned about that, would like to import sesame. Just an example, he called me yesterday, and I say, no problem, there is much of this in Ethiopia, so we're going to do it. So Greeks who are going to import also from Ethiopia, and they're going to establish businesses here, providing jobs to Ethiopians here. So it's double help from Greece to Ethiopia. Also, something else we try to do is, to support Ethiopians in all sectors for Europe. As far as Europe is concerned, we're a member of the European community, so there are many interests, Ethiopian interests played also within the European Union. We try always to help brothers Ethiopians. And another example that comes into my mind, how we helped, except for explain to Ethiopians, to Europeans the Ethiopian position. We tried to help when Ethiopians were in need for candidature, for instance, when Dr. Tedros would like to be the Secretary General of the WHO, the World Health Organization. Greece was the first European country to support him.
The other thing that I have noticed about your presence here is you wanted to promote the history. You wanted to remind people about the history of the two countries, the relationship that we had. And you also produced a documentary on the relationship between the two countries, the long-standing, starting from the time the Greeks started to trade with Ethiopia. They came here, starting from there. And what made you do that?
Thank you very much for this question. First, I see that you are well educated. Bravo. And you have an interest in these relations. What made me do? Ethiopia, as I told you, is a Greek name. I like very much history and mythology. If we just check Iliad and Odyssey, our two epic poems of the antiquity, we see 3 times in one and 4 times in the other, they mention the word Ethiopia. Of course, Ethiopia at that time meant the whole Horn of Africa, because Ethiopia had the beaches, had shores, had ports, had everything. The whole Horn of Africa was Ethiopia for Greeks. And the name, as I told you, is Greek. It means suntan persons. If I go to Greek mythology, there I can see many myths that exactly show how close we are. Probably you have heard about Andromeda. Andromeda was a princess, Ethiopian princess. Her father was Kipheus, Ethiopian king, and her mother Cassiopeia, Ethiopian queen. So they had this daughter, but Andromeda had a particular, characteristic. Was very, very, very beautiful. Ethiopians are beautiful. She was one of the most beautiful Ethiopians. So her parents were very happy, and once her mother boasted, said, my daughter is fantastic, is so beautiful, even more beautiful than Nereids. Nereids were the daughters of Poseidon, semi-goddesses, semi-goddesses of the sea. But it's in ancient Greece and everywhere, it's not correct to compare human beings to gods. So Poseidon became very angry and sent a monster called Kitos to destroy the shores of Ethiopia. So there were many, many, many big distractions, killing people, destroying the shores. As I told you, Ethiopia was also the whole Horn of Africa. And the Ethiopians were desperate, and they asked the priests what they do to stop this. And the priests say, Andromeda was the cause of the problem, so you have to sacrifice to give her to the beast. So they tied her on a rock by the beach there, and the monster was coming. So when everybody was desperate, then the sky opened, and a Greek comes on a flying horse, and the god was Greek hero. It was Perseus. Perseus comes, beats the monster, saves the princess, and so all ends well that ends well. But then, as I told you before, the princess was very beautiful. He falls in love with the princess. They make a nice Greek-Ethiopian family. They have Greek-Ethiopian children. So that's first Greek-Ethiopian, Yeah, but then continues even better, because there comes a moment when everybody dies, and then our biggest god, Zeus, takes all the Greek-Ethiopian family, which means Kipheus, Cassiopeia, Andromeda, and Perseus, and make them constellations. So if you go out in the sky, you will see Kipheus, Cassiopeia, Andromeda, and Perseus, which means Greek-Ethiopian constellations, all together in a Greek-Ethiopian corner of the sky every night. You can do that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, so the sky is the limit. The sky is a testimony to that.
The sky represents the stars, represent Greek-Ethiopian relationship, their children.
Exactly, and they're always there. You can go this night and watch it. I do sometimes. And, that's not just one. There we have, afterwards, there is a first Roman, which is saved from the 4th century, Anno Domini, that's after Christ. It was again a history of Greek man and an Ethiopian girl. That Ethiopian girl was a priestess in Apollo temple in Greece. So they met there, they fall in love. It's a nice story. It's called Ethiopica by Iliodoros. And it's the only whole saved romance of the antiquity. That's impressive. So then they fall in love and he proposes to her. And says, okay, I accept, provided that we get married in Ethiopia, you know, a traditional Ethiopian wedding, which is very nice. So she wanted that. And he says, okay. So they start a big trip towards Ethiopia. It was like Odyssey, because they had many, many, many problems, even pirates, bad seas, everything. But in the end, they managed to come to Ethiopia, get married, and live happily ever after. So another example of a Greek-Ethiopian family. And then we continue, if we come to the reality, not just to history or Roman. The same century that play was written, a Greek man was called Frumendius, together with his brother Edesius, were attacked at sea by pirates outside Djibouti. So they were taking hostages or slaves to the king of Aksum. At that time, the Aksumite kingdom was the biggest kingdom in Ethiopia, very well known. And soon the Greek, because he knew many things, became the teacher of the heir to the throne, Ezana. Ezana became afterwards the king of Aksum. Then he Christianized Ezana, and when he Christianized the king, with the king come all his people. So Aksumites became Christians. And at the same time, there were coins in Aksumite kingdom, golden coins, silver coins, and they were written inscriptions in Greek, like Vasilias Aksumito, which means kingdom of the Aksumites. Like there was the cross on the coins. That's a very nice thing, because on the cross they put it over the king's head, which means that the cross guides the king. And then in Greek it says tuto aresi to lao, which means was a wish that the king hoped that this new Christianism be liked by his people. And all this completely Greek. So you see how close we are. And that's like history goes. And then afterwards, 18th century, 19th century, relations continued through the ages, but then there were waves of Greeks coming here, newer Greeks coming to establish here.
Especially the trade.
Yeah, especially trade. Greeks always weather the seas, as you know, because you know that, I mean, we're a bit large, far away in geographic distance, but we are very close at heart. So they were coming here to Ethiopia. Many came to establish here. They didn't come here as conquerors. They came here as brothers to establish and get mixed with Ethiopians, and most of them had Greek-Ethiopian families. So they were well established here. They started many of the first businesses in Ethiopia, like the first big supermarket, the first big flour mill, the first big insurance company, first big coffee company. They were all managed by Greeks, so thereby helping Ethiopia progress at that time. And as time goes by, we arrive at the emperor's time. When the emperor had, his doctor was Greek, dentist was Greek, his counselor was Greek, his sculptor was Greek. Everybody was Greek at the time. And why? Because Ethiopians felt close to Greeks. I mean, that's the secret. There's always a secret there. We felt very close. And then, of course, there was a derg. Many Greeks were forced to leave, like other foreigners, but many came back. So we still have a dynamic community here. They're not as numerous as before, but they are still very dynamic. And we have a Greek Orthodox Church, St. Frumendius, of course, Christianized Ethiopians. And now, during my tenure here, we have a new bishop of Aksum, new Greek Orthodox bishop of Aksum, who came here, and we have a church, a bishop, and a priest. And we also have the community. The community has the best, I think it's the best. Some people say it's one of the two best, but I think it's the best school in Ethiopia. 1,250 people, also Greek school and English school, international school, managed by the Greek community. And we have the famous Greek club, Now everybody goes there to play tennis or eat something nice. Probably you have been there.
Olympiacos.
Olympiacos, you see, you know Olympiacos, that's the Olympic spirit that comes from there. And so everybody knows, we're close, it's open and friendly and nice. And that's how Greeks come up to today. Always in good cooperation, like brothers. There was never any animosity, any problem, and I'm happy for that. And of course I have to say that also in Greece, there is an Ethiopian community who live there and prosper in tranquility without ever causing any problems, very well adapted. So I'm happy. I saw this with my own eyes when I went there for the theater play Socrates.